Hello everybody, this is Simon Clark from Trade with Precision, discussing some of my key markets of interest this week. Now, the first market I want to take a look at is dollar yen. We've certainly seen some very bullish momentum in dollar yen over the past couple of weeks since the US election, and certainly since the market has broken out of this level, they've broken out of that key 104 level, and we've now got some nice moves over the past couple of weeks to the long side. So the question is really, where is the market likely to move to? Is the bullish momentum sustainable, and where are the trading opportunities? So if I take a look at the weekly chart and just zoom out of this so that we can get some perspective on the market, we can see that the market's been in a nice downtrend, and sort of earlier on this year we were looking at some very nice trading opportunities trading this downtrend down towards the parity level at 100. We certainly had some nice opportunities around this key level that we had identified at the time, which is around 111,500. Now, at this moment in time, that's a few hundred points off where the market is at the moment, and there doesn't seem to be any other sort of structure levels in the way between where price is at the moment and this sort of structure point. So certainly from a technical perspective, I'm looking for price to move up towards 111,500 as long as these sort of fundamentals are still supportive of it. Now, what's been really driving the price here in dollar yen over the past sort of couple of weeks has been the rise in US Treasury yields. You know, that's been on the back of bullish retail data out of the US. Now, of course, the differential between sort of bond yields in Japan on the yen and the potential increase in treasury yields in the US has just made it a lot more attractive for money to be pouring into the US dollar and borrowing the yen, investing in the dollar. So that's what's the fundamentals which have been sort of creating the support here for a rise in this market. So looking at trading opportunities, well, I don't see an awful lot here on this time frame, so I need to come down to the lower time frames to start to look for some sort of cleaner market structure. So I like to come down here to the sort of 4-hour chart, and here on the 4-hour chart we can see, well, since the US election, which has been the sort of volatility that we've seen here, we can now see that we've had a very well structured trend in the market. So we've got a nice clear series of higher highs, higher lows, nice geometry on the market as well, nice geometry in that trend, and we've got still continued convergence here on our indicators, just indicating we've still got bullish momentum in the market. So what I've been looking here for is continued sort of buying opportunities, buying those pullbacks where the market pulls back into the sort of moving averages here, and looking for the trend to continue long. In fact, at the moment we've just now got a pull back into the moving averages at this moment in time. Okay, so the next market I want to take a look at today is euro against the Great British Pound. So euro against the Great British Pound has been sort of quite strong, certainly since the sort of Brexit referendum back in June. We've seen a rise in the euro and a weakening of the Great British Pound. Now, we've now seen a bit of a turnaround in this, and in fact the market has started to pull back into some key levels. There's certainly some bit of a shift here in fundamentals, because there's been a perception since the Brexit referendum that the UK economy is going to severely weaken. Now, that may well be the case, but until at this moment in time we've not seen any evidence of weakening economy. In fact, all we've seen is continued strength coming out of the numbers. More recently this week we've just had extremely bullish employment numbers. Employment now, or unemployment now I should say, is down to an 11-year low, and we've had continued support from industry. with new contracts being signed by major manufacturers here in the UK. So certainly from the sort of fundamental perspective, the news flow has been extremely positive for Great British Pound. However, we haven't really sort of started to see that forming here in the charts unless we're starting to see it now. So I think that the charts at the moment are starting to look rather interesting, and I'll tell you for why. Because if we come and take a look at the weekly chart here, we can see at the moment that the market's now sort of we've had this nice uptrend. The market's now sort of rolled over and pulled back into the moving averages, and it's sort of pulled back into a key level here. So the level that we're sort of looking at here is around the sort of 86 mark. And if I just sort of zoom out of this so that we can get some perspective on history, and we see that there's a level around 86 where the market is at the moment. We've also got a level underneath around 84 as well. Now certainly we've had a very well structured trend to the long side up until this point here, and in fact at the moment the market here on the weekly chart could be seen here as just a pullback into the zone, back into the moving averages, and possibly just a reasonable pullback within the context of an uptrend, and that could be the case. But I believe that we've possibly got the potential here for a decision point now that the market's sitting at this point, at this level here in the market. So if we come and take a look at the lower time frames here and come down to the daily chart. So first of all, here on the daily chart we can see that the market now has turned around in trend. So daily chart and below we're in downtrends, and we've got our moving averages not quite in the right order, but we've certainly got lower highs and lower lows. Now the market's come up to this key level and it's now just consolidated along it. So we've got continued consolidation over the past few days along this level. We can see how many times and how precisely that's been tested more recently on these on the lower time frames here, but we've got continued bearish momentum here on the indicators. So what I'm looking for here is a break of this level to the short side is just going to be significant of weaker momentum here in Euro GDP. It's fair to say certainly at the moment that whilst we've had the news coming out that's been supportive of Great British Pound that we haven't seen in the charts just yet, or haven't seen the reaction in the charts, we haven't had extremely supportive news on the euro. And it could be that now traders are starting to realize, and it could be that we now get a break of this level and we start to get a next move down. Now if we do get a break of this level, the next sort of question is where could the market move to, and I think there's a couple of key significant levels on this market that I'm keeping an eye on. The next one below here is 84. 84 we can see it's been tested a number of times, and below that we've got that key 8,000 level as well. If I just sort of zoom back, you can see the significance of these levels through history. So again, if I come down to the intraday time frames, come down to the 4-hour time frame, again you can start to see how interesting this level is starting to look in price. The market's come down, it's tested this for quite some time, tried to had a rally off it, failed, and now come back down and retesting it. Now certainly at this moment in time we've got a bit of bullish momentum forming here with our indicators. Now this just indicates that we might get some continued consolidation here before we get a break, or in fact we might try to get a bit of a pullback. But considering that the market did rally up to 87 and failed to move any higher, or failed to even hold that, just indicates to me that we've certainly got sort of bearish momentum here on this market. I'm certainly looking very closely to see if this level holds or if it breaks, and I believe if it breaks there could be some interesting opportunities to the short side here on Euro GDP. So there's a couple of markets that I'm keeping a close eye on, a couple of opportunities that I'm keeping a close eye on over the next few weeks. Certainly hope it helps and look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.